It's cool, man. I'm keeping this too, man. Ray got me weak before we even started recording, y'all.
You're nuts.
What's going on, good people? Rich here.
School in the building was happening.
Hey everybody. What's up, y'all? It's your girl Ray P back on the mic.
Hey, man, we back at it with another episode of the Culture Garden podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in with us. Thanks for rocking with us. Thanks for celebrating 50 with us last week. Like we said, we're just scratching the surface, but it was cool to just have a moment and reflect. All of y'all are a part of that. We appreciate y'all for coming back another week, and the week after that, and the week after that. Thank you. It means the world to us. We're never going to start a podcast or an episode, should I say, without thanking y'all for investing your time into what we do. We appreciate everybody who loves films with the same vigor that we do. So, want to start it out in that fashion. Want to give a shout out to Christina. This past week was her birthday.
Happy birthday.
Christina, happy birthday.
Shout out, man. Christina, just a little bit of shout out to her because she found us through We Got Y'all. She was looking for Insecure podcasts back at the end of 2021, stumbled into us, liked us, followed us over to the Culture Garden. I remember her, the first time I remember interacting with Christina was the Soul Food episode, which was episode 12. Because she was weak at school because school said you letting Uncle Pete hold your baby. And she said, she was like, I almost wrecked my car when he said that. And just been talking to her, here and there, just online and sharing thoughts and a whole lot. So episode 12, that's an OG. So shout out to her. She also taught us something which doesn't happen a lot. We think we know everything, or at least I do. I can't speak for Rachel or school, but we know a lot about movies. And she taught us something about ATL. I've told the story before about People's, how it was supposed to be, and then it didn't. So anytime I learn something new from someone about a movie, especially a movie that I love, we locked in. So shout out to Christina. Hope you had a great birthday. That also reminds me, we want to know like when y'all found us and how long y'all been listening to us. So if you can hit us up on Instagram at the Culture Garden Podcast, that would be dope because we like interacting. As you guys can tell, we always shouting people out.
Absolutely.
That would be real cool. Cause I'm curious. I'm always curious about that. Where are you from? How did you hear about us? How long you been rocking with us?
Yeah, and our individual Instagram is up there too. So if you want to send somebody a DM personally, it's all good.
Yeah. I don't know what kind of nasty work you up to, but we
no.
I'm messing with y'all. I'm joking. Rachel, you about to say something?
I was gonna say, if you want to follow me, my page is private.
Announce yourself.
Yeah, say something on the chat first so I can let me know. I'll accept you. Cause
before you come through that back door, you better knock. Shout out to Dolph.
Period. I'm not a rat bitch. I didn't know what that was, but it felt good in my spirit.
You ain't into rap heavy, but you got a gangster mentality. That's what's wild. You a whole ass thug out here.
If you know what, old rap. So like if I'm riding with a nigga and it's on, like, oh, okay, I'll ride. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I've heard that before. Maybe
once or twice. Who knows? Who keeping count, right? Also, please remember to like, subscribe, share, rate. Your ratings mean a lot to us on the Apple Podcast. Like I said, subscribe to us if you're watching us on YouTube or you're listening to us via podcast form. So you get these updates every week. We drop every Thursday. On our Instagram page, we have the link to our Linktree as well. So check us out there. You have access to everything as far as the audio and the YouTube page. Currently, we are also on the Linktree. Man, this shit is flowing. Also on the Linktree. We got y'all. We Got Y'all is our television feed. We are currently doing Succession. Yeah. But this upcoming week, next week, should I say, we will be dropping the first episode of Run the World. Comes on Stars. It is back for season 2. I was listening to an old episode, The Photograph. And on that episode, we were talking about We Got Y'all. And that was that same day we recorded was the same day they announced when season 2 was coming out. And you were pissed that it was going to take so long. You're like, May. And now we're here. So we get a chance to talk about it. And we got 2 more episodes of Succession. Episode 9 will be dropping sometime this week. And then the finale will drop sometime next week. We'll be finished with that and solely focusing on Run the World, which comes on Stars. Before we get into today's episode, there will be spoilers, and this is a film where if you haven't seen it, spoilers matter.
Yeah.
It is a unique first watch experience, similar to what did we just do? What movie last week or a couple weeks ago?
Life?
Oh, no, not Life.
Law-abiding citizen.
Yes, like Law-Abiding Citizen. Thank you.
Yeah.
Similar to Law-Abiding Citizen, where if you have not seen it that first time, spoilers really do matter.
Yeah.
And we are talking about Focus, the 2015 Will Smith film. The synopsis: in the midst of a veteran con man Nicky Slater's scheme, a woman from his past, now an accomplished femme fatale, shows up and throws his plans for a loop. As far as the stats go, it was released February 27, 2015. Directed and written by Glenn Ficarra and John Requa. They are constant collaborators. They direct everything together.
Yeah.
They also directed Crazy Stupid Love, which is a favorite of mine.
Yep.
Absolutely. And when I found out they directed it, you see a little bit of their director styles in both of those movies, and it makes a lot of sense. But yeah, the unique co-directors, the Hughes brothers, Coen brothers, a few other people out there do it, but it is kind of difficult to pull off. So shout out to them. They also wrote, outside of directing, they wrote Bad Santa, Bad News Bears.
Yeah.
Both of them with Billy Bob Thornton.
Billy Bob.
Yeah, man. This film had a budget of an estimated $50.1 million and made $158.7 million worldwide.
Period.
Box office success.
That Will Smith effect, baby.
Currently streaming on Cinemax or the Roku channel or Hulu, but you have to have Cinemax on all of those platforms to watch it. So
yeah,
there's a free 7-day trial on Prime if you haven't checked that out, or at Cinemax Direct, I believe. So check out this film if you don't have it, or if you just want to rent it, you can do that. Big baller. Awards. It had 3 nominations for different categories and different award shows, but they were pretty minor, so we'll just move on. As far as the cast goes, we have Will Smith as Nicky, Margot Robbie as Jess, Rodrigo Santoro as Garriga, Adrian Martinez as Farhad, Gerald McRaney as Owens, B.D. Wong as Lee Yuan, and Brendan Brown as Horst. It's funny, Rodrigo Santoro, who played Garrigo, he collaborated with the directors in previous work, and I've said this before, I'm a fan when directors got their people. Yeah, you kind of mix it in with some new faces. Like, that's just always one of those cool movie things to me. And this is my movie. It was my week to select. So why did I choose this film? The second episode that we've ever done on the Culture Garden was a Will Smith episode. We talked about the life and career of Will Smith. This is my favorite version of Will Smith. This was in my top 5, not necessarily performances or movies, but top 5 favorite Will Smith on-screen characters for me. Like, I would put this in my top 5 Will movies to watch because it's that cool Will.
Yeah.
Especially when we think about, that Mike Lowry, that Black James Bond type of style. That's Will. That's when he's at his peak. And you need someone like Will to play this role, in my opinion. If you use a lesser known actor, it's really not the same. Even if you use they don't have to be lesser known. Let's say John David Washington, right?
Mm-hmm.
Him in this role is a difference between it being a Netflix original and making $158.7 million at the box office. Agreed. And that's all respect to John David, but this movie isn't made. No, what I'm saying is this movie isn't made for a thespian. You don't have to have them talents.
Yeah,
you need to be cool. You need to be charming. You need people who want to fuck with you. And I'm not saying that doesn't happen for him, but Will is kind of the king of that. He's been doing that since he's come out. Yeah.
It's bread and butter.
Yeah, absolutely. So if it was more of it's a different movie with John David Washington because he's acting. He's and Will is too, but it's a little bit more dramatic and maybe less kind. Like, you want to see that charming person on the screen. Yeah, you about to say something, my bad.
It's very natural for Will to play Nick. It's just
absolutely.
Yeah, so
100%. And it's light. It's light. It doesn't need all that heavy stuff. So that's why I particularly say films like this, even like an Out of Time with Denzel, speaking of John David Washington, but films that are fun and they don't make sense and you don't care that they don't make sense and some of that shit is a little bit over the top, but you still love them to death and you'll watch them over and over and over again. That's what Focus is, because there's some silly shit that happened in Focus.
Yeah, and when it was time to put them to act, he did it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. So absolutely. It also showed that Will was still Will.
Yeah.
Because it's I love doing one of my favorite things about the podcast is it serves as a time capsule. So we kind of go back to 2015. And if we think about that, You know, from 95 to 2008, he put out a film every single year.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of forget about it. Will was in our, you know, in our damn, I can't talk. He was in our view for all those years.
Yep.
And then he took a 4-year break, came back with Men in Black 3. School, what did you say about Men in Black 3, specifically about Will Smith?
Oh, he was looking old, man.
Said that was the first time Will looked old to him. So people were starting to be like, oh, is this that next phase of Will career? And then he came out with this and was like, nah, I'm still cool. Like, I still he dug into that hitch bag a little bit.
Yeah.
Got his cool back. I like films that you can have fun with. That's another reason. As light as I say it is, you can watch this movie from different perspectives after your first watch.
Yeah.
So we're in on the con, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah.
There's a certain scene, we'll talk about it later, that when you watch it the first time, you're rooting for a certain thing to happen. And then you watch it the second time, you're watching it from a completely different perspective because you know what's going to happen and it doesn't even matter. And when you watch it from that second perspective, it gets that much more interesting.
Yeah.
Because you know certain information now. Like I said, we're in on the con the whole movie versus it just being a movie about a con man and what they're doing. So I thought that part was cool as well. And similar to Draft Day, I like when we get in the inside world. I like Ocean's 11 is one of my favorite movies. I like kind of that crime, that slick, suave, white collar shit, and them not getting away. I mean, them getting away with it. So all of it, all the above. I love this film, as you can tell. I'm going on and on, but I can watch Focus over and over again. And the first 50 minutes of this film are kind of flawless.
Yep, I would agree.
Very easy to watch. I mean, you start the credits and you get right into the shits.
Yeah.
And it just flows perfectly. And the second half kind of feels a little bit like a different movie. Kind of, if anybody's out there seen Funny People.
Yeah.
Not to that degree, but if you watch Funny People, the first half is a completely different movie than the second half. And
it's kind of like Pineapple Express is like that too. Like
all of Apatow's movies, he makes long comedies, and comedies weren't made to be long.
Nah.
But yeah, it kind of works like that. As far as the origin of the film, a little bit of information I want to talk to y'all about. School, you might know. Rachel, I don't know. Do you know who was originally supposed to star in this film?
No, who?
I know Emma Stone, and I can't remember the other person, but I know
Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone.
Yeah.
Going back to our Crazy Stupid
Love.
Yeah. So, like I said, that these directors like to use the same people. They were supposed to be in the film. They both dropped out.
I like Margot and Will better.
Okay, so they both dropped out. Rachel.
Mm-hmm.
Brad Pitt was supposed to replace Ryan Gosling. Kristen Stewart was going to replace Emma Stone. Exactly, that's what I said.
No,
I don't like that either. I think Brad Pitt is interesting, not with Kristen Stewart, but he's just interesting. I think he plays that rusty character from Ocean's 11. You think he can pull that out pretty smooth?
It's not much Brad can't do, though.
That's a fact. Fact. Once Brad dropped out, Ben Affleck was offered the role.
No.
He dropped off due to scheduling conflicts, and then Will was finally offered the role, and he accepted. Kristen Stewart was still attached to it, but then dropped out. Apparently, I can't confirm this. Allegedly, she dropped out because of the age difference between her and Will, which was odd to me for a couple reasons. For one, Ben Affleck is only like 3 or 4 years younger than Will. So if you're going to do the movie with him, that's kind of odd. The second thing that was odd is Margot Robbie is the same. She was born the same year as Kristen Stewart. So
right.
I don't know. Kristen Stewart kind of gives me this little, something ain't just, it don't curl all the way over. Like you say, Rachel.
Know it.
Yeah. She's not really for me. And it's funny because I love Twilight. And every time I rewatch, I'm like, she's actually terrible. So shout out to her. But yeah, no, I can't see her. She's not even like sexy. She does not emote well in any regard.
It wouldn't make sense.
It wouldn't. It would make absolutely no sense. It wouldn't flow. Like not even just with Will, with any fine man. Even though Robert Pattinson was like fine and Taylor Lautner, but that's teeny bop stuff. But this is like grown man shit. So
yeah, I think Emma Stone would have been the best option if you couldn't get Margot.
If you couldn't get Margot, yeah, I like that.
Let me. I got 6 more names for y'all.
Okay.
6 more names. And I still want to see if Emma Stone will still be the best option.
Okay.
Michelle Williams?
No.
Mm-mm.
Jessica Biel?
No.
Rose Byrne? Hell no. I'll answer it for y'all. Hell no.
But I love her though. But no.
Yeah, she's dope, but just not in this.
Yeah.
Like I can't see her in this. She's naturally funny to me. 100%. So I always think of her in a comedic way. It would have changed the outlook of the movie for me.
Yeah.
Olivia Munn?
No.
She's not a good enough actor in my opinion. The last two I think are very interesting. Rosamund Pike.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know who that one is, so no.
That's who. That's
from Gone Girl.
Yeah, from Gone Girl.
Oh, ooh.
Now here's my thing with that. I think she falls into the John David thing where that might be this movie doesn't need everything she can bring to the table.
Yeah. Okay.
She could do it, but you'd be underusing her.
Yeah, yeah.
And who's the other?
Jennifer Lawrence.
No.
You don't think so?
That
type of movie is perfect for her.
I was gonna say Jennifer Lawrence might be all right. That might be the second best option.
Yeah, might be perfect. You know, as y'all can tell, man, our bag is deeper than the culture. We do this. Shout out to all of them, man. Glad to see they doing their thing. That's an Insecure reference, by the way, if y'all caught it. First experience, school. Let's talk about your first experience seeing this, or maybe not seeing it. I don't know.
Me and the wife just got engaged. It was like a Valentine's Day. We got engaged, and then this was our like little thing. We went to see this movie, and honestly, I don't remember. I didn't remember shit about it, man. So watching it for the pod was like watching it all over again. Like, and it was dope. It was dope. Because at first I was looking at you kind of weird, like, damn, Focus? Did you pick that? And then I watched it. I was like, oh, okay then.
So, Rachel?
You know, I don't remember my first time seeing this. 2015, I was actively going to the movies. I mean, I was grown. So it's not one of those situations where, you know, I'm too young to remember, but I don't think I saw this in the theater. I think I might have caught it on like a Stars playback type situation on TV, definitely.
100% watched it on cable. I did not see this in the theater. Similar to like what you just said, Rachel, that's weird because it's Will in 2015. And even if you go on YouTube and watch the trailer, it has everything that I would go to the movie theater for.
Yeah.
So I don't know what I was doing or how I missed it, but I know I didn't see it in theaters, but I did see it like on the Stars HBO type of run. And immediately it was right in my bag. Like I loved everything about it. And it's a clean rewatch, you know.
Absolutely.
Like I said, it's cool because certain movies that have twists and turns, they wear out after a while because you know everything that's coming. This one is a little bit more interesting because there are different perspectives you can view it from, as I mentioned earlier. So I always thought that was dope. Let's get into some categories. Oh, before we do, school, classic or nah?
I'm gonna say nah as far as the culture, but as far as the genre, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ray P?
I think I might agree. What genre would we consider this?
Like that like you said, that white collar crime, Ocean's 11.
I was gonna say a classic. Culturally, no.
So it is. The genres listed are comedy, crime, drama, romance, and cerebral.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Cerebral. I don't know if I said that. I pronounced that last. I said it, but I don't know if y'all heard me.
The cerebral assassin. Ain't that Triple H?
Yeah, man.
I'm not gonna call it a classic in any of those, but it is very good.
I'm agreeing. It is not a classic. Very, very good. Yeah, everything can't be a classic, unfortunately. No matter how much I like it, it's just not a classic.
Yeah.
So, but I will watch it a lot.
Yeah, I watch it whenever I see that it's on.
Yeah, I will watch it a lot. So let's get into scenes. School, you go ahead and kick us off. You and Rachel go back and forth, and then I will just chime in with my thoughts.
Now, see, it's your movie.
Yeah, right. But I got my scenes written down, so whatever, I'll just chime in if y'all pick one of my scenes, and then whatever you guys don't say, I'll make sure I say it for the end because I have thoughts.
All right, I'm gonna start off with just the opening scene, like you said, bro. The first 50 minutes of this movie is flawless. The very beginning, it gets right into it. I love movies like that. Jump right into it. With Jess approaching Nick at the table. Nick's just chilling, kicking back, doing his thing, having a brew or a wine, I believe. And Jess, can you pretend to be my boyfriend? She's pretending to be distraught, like she's running away from someone. She needs to be distracted, and they get right into it. And then they go up into her room. She invites him up to his room. And we don't know as viewers that Nick is on to her. Like, he already know what this is. He's on to us. I love when Nick starts giving them the quick lessons after she has her, I guess that's her boyfriend or her accomplice, at least. He comes in with the gun, and then Nick starts just giving lessons like, yo, give me a chance to run. Never break the lie. Just giving out quick lessons, man. Nick was a G.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I had that as well, school. And I was saying, me and my homegirl literally just did that at the Ritz, pulled some gentleman over because it was these old men that was doing way too much. So like, can you come here, please? Thank you so much. But anywho, I'll get into Nick showing Jess the touches outside in the snow after, after your scene, school, just because even though he was given those little hints and tips in the hotel room, this little one-on-one tutorial, aside from it being very cute, it let us know that Nikki really was about that shit. Like, I really ain't no slouch. I really do this. It's inherited. It's a family tradition. So I just really like that. It was a cute scene. And it sets up the movie, both scenes, to let us know what we're dealing with from both parties.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I wrote down, he stole that watch from her about 60 times. Like, that shit was just so smooth.
Well, one thing I just want to say real quick, it also sets up that chemistry for them the entire movie. We don't have to wait for it. We know right away that these two got something. The characters and just on screen, us as viewers, like Will and Margot just had this on-screen chemistry, especially for a film like this. So it was really dope to see, and those two films set it up perfectly. Shout out to Apollo Robbins, by the way. I'll talk about him in my scene or whatever. I'm sure one of you guys will say it, but we'll talk about him. What are you going to say, Rachel?
Their off-screen chemistry was interesting too.
I wasn't going to take it there. I was just moving along with the notes.
Yeah,
you freestyle,
we moving. Chemistry is chemistry.
Hey, Google it, y'all. Google it. I will say that you will be entertained.
Yeah.
Cool. What's the next scene?
The next scene is when she pulls up on him at the Super Bowl.
Whoa. They made it very clear. Do not use the SB word with this movie, okay? The championship game.
The championship game. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they went through a major trouble to make sure that they did not say anything related to the NFL.
Yeah.
Did you peep the teams that were playing? Or one of the teams that was playing in that championship game?
Yeah. Her
Miami Sharks.
The Miami Sharks.
Shout out
to Any Given Sunday.
Sunday. Oh, I love that movie. Deepest Blues.
But her thinking she figured it out, taking his advice, and she had it all figured out. And just like Nikki told her, like, this is some sucker shit. Like, the Super Bowl, which he did say, the World Series, the Final Four, and it took her 3 Hyatts 5 times each to even find this man. And then you find out that he already knew she was coming. Like, I'm way ahead of you, baby.
Yeah.
And for reference, you can say the Super Bowl. You can't say it in reference to the actual game being played. That's what I was going at.
Oh, I know. I'm just talking shit.
Okay, I had that as well. But I'm gonna backtrack to them on Bourbon Street in New Orleans, because this is Jess's essentially her first go round, and Nikki, as well as all of the other established con artists, are, we are seeing a day in the life of high level, high traffic events like this. And for the record, I 1000% believe these little crime scam organizations exist. 100%. There are cities known for pickpockets in this, that, and the third, especially extremely high traffic areas. But I just like that because yes, I'm learning into it. It just was a reminder, like, God damn it, people really be stealing.
Oh yeah. Quick little side note. Me and Rich come from a huge family, and we had a couple uncles that lived in New York City, and some advice they gave us when they say if you ever go is never look up at the what is it called, the buildings, what are they called, skyscrapers, because that's when you will get pickpocketed, because they know you're not from around there. You're looking up, looking around, and they tapping you up, man. It's robbing you blind. Shout out to Uncle Eddie and Uncle Alvin, man.
Shout out to both of them, man. Uncle Eddie, Uncle Alvin, man. Damn. Shout out to them. To go along with that scene, Rachel, the New Orleans Bourbon Street scene, Apollo Robbins, I mentioned him earlier. He is probably the most well-known or more successful, deception artist, pickpocketer. He was a consultant on this film.
Yep.
And he broke down a few of those terms. He talks about deception as just being right in front of you. So it directly makes me think of that scene in the snow between Nikki and Jess, because he was teaching her, like, if I tap you here, you steal from here. That's how they really do it.
Yeah.
There's a TED Talk that he has, if you can find it on YouTube. I think it's from 2013, a couple years before he did this film. And he brought somebody from the crowd on stage, and it's amazing to watch because even I think a lot of us see shit like that and we'll say, like, that couldn't happen to me. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, I'm too aware. Like, I feel like I would feel that.
Yep.
Trust me, you would not. Like, he took this man's watch, put shit on his shoulder he didn't know was there. It was just the way your brain works.
Yeah.
And it was very fascinating. But he did break down some of those things about the deception. The Wire, because when I think Horst was breaking down, like, I'm this, I'm that, you this, like, breaking it all. So the Wire is the quarterback. They're the ones that actually steal. They pull off the touch and they do everything. The steer points out the mark. So that's what Horst was. He was the one making sure you let people know, like, all right, this person got money. I just seen him put his wallet in his left breast jacket. Like, there you go, right there. What are you about to say, School? My bad.
No, I was agreeing with you. Like,
okay, then.
Yeah.
The stick is the helper. Just somebody that's actually, all right, I'm going to pass this off to you. You do what you need to do with it. And then they also had the shade, which is counter surveillance. So they're making sure ain't nobody watching them watch other people. And then you have the cannon, which is Nick in this movie. And that's the person that can do it all.
Yeah.
They can play all those roles by themselves. And once you reach the cannon level, you can do all these stunts by yourself. You don't even need a team no more. And there was a point in the film where Jess told Nick, I want to be a cannon. And he kind of laughed at her, like, come on, man. Like, I do this. Like, this shit's in my blood. Like you mentioned earlier, Rachel. So, real dope scene. And it is scary. Not scary in the, like, oh, shit, but that shit could really happen. You not know what the fuck just went on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a blessing not to live in a big city. I'll say that.
I hear you. And before you jump back into your school, I do just want to highlight again your last scene. That whole football game, everything, the way that Nick set that up.
Oh, we haven't even talked about it yet.
Well, that was School's pick.
No.
He wasn't talking about the football. He was talking about the hotel when she came and found him. We just started talking about football. Because he mentioned the Super Bowl in that scene.
Yeah, because
we're gonna spend a lot of time on that scene.
Oh, okay, my bad, John. I misheard that. I thought that's the scene you just did. Okay, go ahead.
We ain't breezing by that scene.
Okay. No, not at all. Not at all. My next scene would be the Farhad introduction. Bro, like, the way I just love the scene, the way he talks about Jess like she's not there, bro. Like. Like he was talking to Nick like nobody was in that car. Like, you hit that? Like, who is this chick? Then he started, did you hit that? Like, who's the girl? You hitting that? She talks a lot. Like, you need to hit that, bro. Like, just you could tell what type of friendship they have, bro. Like, it's just dope to see that.
I had that down as well.
Absolutely. Okay, well, my next scene is the whole Super Bowl or championship game.
Yeah.
Again, the way Nick set that up was absolutely fucking crazy. And we already talked about how, you know, he is the canon and it's in his blood. But to have that much knowledge of who you're dealing with, because now this goes beyond random strangers on the street, random pickpockets, random gamblers, this, that, and the third. This is truly a medium long con, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
To get where we're trying to go. And the fact that Jess was in the dark, that shit made it even more believable to his point. Like, and that's just you. No, don't bring her in on this shit because we need it to be as real as possible.
Yeah, she's the key.
Can I also just butt in real quick? They did a beautiful job of making look seem like a degenerate gambler.
Mm-hmm.
I need 10,000 because I need a dime. I just lost it at the tracks.
Yeah.
1.2, please. No ponies, no horses. Like,
that part.
Yeah. That's that.
So my fault, Rachel. Keep going.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
I was gonna get into that. I was just gonna say they set it up beautifully right before that, especially if you've never seen this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like you outside looking in, when Horse hit him with all that 1.2, no gambling, no tracks, all that. Like watching it, I'm like, all right, now what? Like, and then he started messing with old boy, and it was looking bad. Sheesh.
Yeah. We were in on the con, as I said at the beginning.
Yes.
Like, that's what made this shit cool.
Mm-hmm. And to that, I want to say I didn't realize, as many times as I've seen this movie, I knew that Farhad had cleared the coach's debt, but until this rewatch or this last one, I didn't realize that was the coach at the beginning in the hotel.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I had missed that so many times. I'm like, oh, I thought they were clearing a random old debt, not a debt from this motherfucking weekend, nigga, from yesterday.
Listen,
for those in reference, that's the card game that they were playing.
Yes.
The guy put the contact in his eye. The coach was the one that lost his money there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I
was gonna say, just like us, Nick's not new to this, he's true to this. Like every week when it's time to do these movies, we do our research, you know what I mean? We write our notes out, blase. That's what Nick was doing.
100%.
With I can't remember BD Wong's character's name, but
Lee Wan.
Yes, he did research on that man. He knew that if he sat Jess close enough and start betting with Jess, that he couldn't help himself and he was gonna dig in. Like it started off with a hot dog bet, and then some drunk dude. And next thing you know, we went from $1 to $10 to 1,000 to 5 to 10 to 1 million. Like that's insane, bro.
Yeah. Lee Wan said is BD Wan's character. It is rare for a movie to be this easy to watch.
Yeah.
What I mean is that you don't have to wreck your brain with what's going on.
Yeah.
And also be so well written.
Yep.
Because on your first watch, and I heard this a lot, and I still hear it from people, and it kind of lets me know how many times you've seen this movie if you say it. A lot of people say that seems ridiculous. What are the odds? But they cleaned it up well. Obviously, in the car ride, they said, you know, he told her, like, Farhad got it at a 59.7% chance. So not like it's flawless. But when you break that scene down, that's exactly how it works. I love how they explained he's been seeing it, but hasn't been seeing it. That is how our brains work.
Absolutely.
There's a very specific line that Nick's character says when he's narrating that. He says, and hit something in his back of his head says it's intuition.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because I've been seeing, like, I've been getting no different than people that play the lotto. Like I dreamt about this number last night. I'm about to play it today.
Yeah.
Anything else that you can do with that, it happens. Like it's very realistic. Like, damn, I just told school, like, man, I've been seeing my birthday like crazy in schools. Like it just hit on the lottery.
Yep. Subconscious.
Things like that. We think it's our gut feeling. Our brains can be tricked into it.
Absolutely.
And, you know, he sees it, but he doesn't see it.
Absolutely.
So, and going to your point, school, this is high level criminals. This isn't your average Joe. You know, this isn't, you know, them niggas from Crash.
Yeah.
This is some real high level. I do my research. We can tell in the scene when they go to Buenos Aires. That was a 3-year setup. He'd been with dude for 3 years to pull this con off.
Yep.
They're patient. They take their time. They're here for the big scores.
Yeah.
I love that was shot or highlighted in this scene.
Yep.
Because it was brilliant. Like I said, even the pocket square. And like you said, School, just sitting close enough. I know this man gonna bite.
That's
and
it.
her not knowing, like you said, that I think that's the best part, Rachel. You said it. Her not knowing, her being in the loop, because we really think like, what the fuck? How you gonna get out of this?
Because they already alluded to him having a gambling problem.
Yep. That's why I said they set it up. They set it up perfectly from the beginning. The explanation of how it worked, all of that. Like I believe it because, like I said, our brains work that way, especially when you see a familiar face, and you know.
Yeah.
The only thing that I was questioning is he said in the car, like, what happened if it didn't work? Well, you keep doubling nothing until it happens. You got to find a new trick. So maybe he had other stuff set up. I would like to think Nick is smart enough to where if that didn't work, he has another plan set up.
Right.
Because
sure thing.
Lee Yuan seems like a person that he wouldn't keep making that same bet over.
Nah.
He would get suspicious. Like, hold on, like,
all right, nigga.
Yeah, at some point.
Yeah.
But he's also a very honest man. I believed it when he said, when he asked him if he wanted to just wanted him to write that number down. He said, "No, I trust you." I believe that Lee Yuan would tell him the truth.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. He all those character traits came out. Like I will say this, man. This was one of the hardest scene stealer categories that we've had.
Bruh.
We got 3 solid nominees, and you might have more than that, but 3 for sure are just cooking this movie.
Yep, agreed.
All right, School. I think it's on you.
Nah, it's on Rachel.
Nah, she did the Super Bowl scene.
I just picked that, but I jumped ahead. But go ahead.
Nah, the meeting with Garrett.
Oh, I'm sorry. One more important thing that I do want to highlight about that scene is the championship scene.
Mm-hmm.
You reach a certain level of a film when a song is associated with it.
Oh, yep.
I know it's not a film, but on television, whenever I hear Journey's "Don't Stop Believing," I instantly think of the last episode of Sopranos.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's nothing else that comes to my mind. When I hear Rolling Stones' "Sympathy for the Devil," I think about Focus and I think about this scene.
Yep.
So I think that's just a top notch. When you're associated that strongly because the scene was that good, I think that's dope.
Yeah. Absolutely.
My next scene is at the end of the championship when he pretty much breaks up with Jess. Like,
ooh.
Can we pause on this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead and get your thoughts out, School. But I got a question.
Nah, I was just gonna say, like, he's the ultimate con man. Like, he needed her, I'm guessing. Like, I still don't understand the whole situation.
So that's what I want to talk to you guys about.
Yeah, I didn't really understand it, but I guess he ultimately was just using her. Like, that's what it was all about. But
it wasn't, though.
So once again, this film is very well written.
Yeah.
They sprinkle little character traits that if you're not paying attention, you miss them.
Mm-hmm.
The scene when they do the Farhad has a heart attack.
Yes.
He's talking to Jess and about that story that he told about, dad and granddad.
Yeah.
Oh, snap. Like you heard that story? I've heard it, but not from him.
Yeah.
And he also says people aren't his thing.
Mm-hmm.
So they give those little clues about him, but it also is like, damn, I know he liked this woman. Like, why did he leave? So I want to ask you, why do y'all think he left?
Because he didn't want to get caught up. So let me rewind us a little bit, which is where I should have gone, but I was too geeked to talk about this damn football game.
Yeah.
And I have the scene leading up to Nikki and Jess having sex. And she said, "You seem trustworthy. And if you know anything about body language, he pauses, not for real."
Mm-hmm.
And he says, "You know what? Maybe you should take that cab." Mm-hmm. So that was our first inkling, aside from the fact that we can sense chemistry leading up to this point. And obviously he ends up at our hotel. So they do enjoy each other that night. But that scene lets us know that it's more than the con.
Mm-hmm.
And he's out of his comfort zone. And I want to give you a way out by not getting too involved because I'm really not trustworthy. And the fact that you said that, I got to put you on a little bit of ice. Now, just like a nigga, he still showed up. But that was, for me, my cue as a viewer, like, oh, this is going to be some funny shit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I got you.
Do it right after that. That was the emotional wave that she went through.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
From picking that number and watching him gamble all this money away, her money, to them being successful, to her getting dumped is crazy.
That shit is insane, bro. That shit is insane. And to make it out with $80,000.
In the words of Rachel, crimes of passion.
Crimes of passion.
Crimes of passion.
Set all this shit on fire.
Yeah, I was always just curious about, because it's the movie's so good, and you just come from that high of that scene that I never stopped and wondered. Even it took like my third rewatch from my notes to even stop and be like, damn, why did he just leave her? Because when we see him, and the reason I mainly say that is because my next scene, I know we're not talking about it, but when he sees Jess again and how thrown off he is by his game, that was like, you clearly care about this woman.
Yeah.
And you also are jealous that she's with someone else. So, very interesting. But whose scene are we on right now? My bad. I think we're on Rachel, because it's cool. You mentioned this other one.
Oh, well, I took us back to the.
My bad. School, it is on.
Write that in so we can go to school.
I got the meeting with Garega. Is that how you say his name?
What's that? Garega.
The meeting with Garega. Is that right?
Garega,
yeah. The meeting with Garega about the fuel burning algorithm, the false readings. Basically, he hired Nick to, help him out, get some shit going, to be a con man, basically. Help him win the Grand Prix or whatever.
Grand Prix. I don't know if that was a Grand Prix or not, but yeah, some kind of
some type of Formula One race or something of that nature. But yeah, just how good of a con man Nick really is, and how it's all business with Nick, bro. Like he's gonna get the job done. And as you see, as he goes to the party, and it goes back to what you was just talking about, Rich. When Nikki saw Jess, it was like, damn, like he did everything he said he was going to do. He pretended to be drunk. He ordered, water with olives and all that, to the point where he really needed a drink after he saw Jess. And that's one of my favorite scenes too. Is like him really trying to get a drink. Oh boy, told everyone, like, yo, when he ordered something, water with olives, like that.
I had that written down in my notes. Like I said, one of those little small things that they just wrote in. You don't have to pay attention to it, but it does add to the movie.
Yep.
But it wasn't the fact that he saw Jess that made him drink. He saw her with another nigga.
Yep.
This when you see your girl with another nigga.
It's been 3 years. They ain't your girl.
They always are girl.
Always your girl.
They always are girl. What you talking about, man? What you talking about? Stop playing with me. I just want to dive into that just a little bit. Him seeing Jess again, because he had the plan and it faded off, and he went to Garega. Obviously Garega expecting to shove, and that right hand, I feel like I've seen that before. I don't know if that was muscle memory. That right hand slap, that shit was.
Hey,
that shit was smooth. Same hand, same form.
I hope he slapped Chris Rock with that motherfucker again.
Hey, come on, man. Violence is never the answer, but sometimes it is, man. Shout out to Matt Barnes.
Shout out to Matt Barnes.
Rachel, I think we're on you for your scene.
Yeah, well, that was my next scene. The whole party. We've touched on that. I will go to Jess and Farrar talking after, she's shopping and stuff, and they're in the little plaza or the mart, and we see Nick looking at her, because he obviously set up the whole thing. But just her seeing her growth, we're past her, knowing that he's watching her now and making him jealous at the pool. Just all of that, because it's setting us up for the second half of this movie, which obviously is very different.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll just say the last 20-30 minutes of this movie, it's not perfect, but it's damn near close. Like, just like you said, just trying to basically show Nick, like, I am good at this shit. Like, I have improved. It's been 3 years. You don't know me. You don't know how good I am. Earlier, we saw her not being able to be sexual and sensual, and then she eventually trick Nick like into thinking like, I'll be with you, like I'll leave with you, let's go, and all this. And she tricked his ass, like, man, get the fuck out of here, beat it. Like, sheesh.
How much of that did you think was trickery? Like, I would get my last laugh, but I felt like she really was gonna leave with that nigga.
It's hard to get. It's more hard to get,
Yeah, definitely.
One thing y'all didn't even mention the best part about that scene. She dogged this shit. I'll keep you safe. What was that?
Like, yeah.
I love how she dogged him. That revenge is always the best because she was owed that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she was owed that.
I love getting a nigga back.
We know.
We know.
We know. The audience know.
Mm-hmm.
The niggas know.
Yeah,
they all know. We all know, man.
Oh, I'm crazy. I'll go to her being at his room, and then when Owens comes in, they have this good passionate moment. Now I really will leave with you, but Owens is peeping out the scenery, wish the nigga would, because he knows that something is afoot. He knows that you ain't just in here.
Yeah, that little red hair.
That's it.
Yeah, having a lazy Sunday.
So can I hop in real quick?
Please.
So this is my favorite scene in the movie.
All right.
The Super Bowl suite, or the championship game suite is the best. That's the one that you gonna leave here talking about.
Yeah.
But this is the one that I look forward to the most. Because after that championship one, you get it, and it's still. I will give a shout out, a credit for that. Once you have the big reveal, sometimes when you're watching it over again, it's like, all right, we know what's happening.
Yeah.
I still watch every second of that scene like I don't know what's about to happen. That's that good. So shout out to that. But this scene with Owens was just, and this is what I mentioned earlier at the beginning. Once you watch this once and you know everything that's going to happen and you're done being part of the con because you know what's up, I watched this scene from a father-son perspective and just their relationship anyway. All their things together.
Yeah.
When you had the apple martinis, what you in a sorority now, all of that. Like I started watching that. I can't help it. It's a father-son perspective.
Yeah.
And it makes a ton of sense. It's almost like, damn, like I should have seen this. But the movie's done so well that you don't. Obviously the color. So you never suspect that that's gonna be Will's dad.
They kept that curl. They kept his hair juicy.
Yeah, they kept the curl, man. He used that same shit from Bad Boys 3, Coco Bean or whatever that was. Whatever guy they used in his hair. But like I said, we're getting con as an audience on the first watch. We are invested in that chase. We're invested in just getting away. And that's very interesting to think about because you flip this movie on its head. We don't want them to get caught because if they get caught, that means Owens is going to tell Garriga, Nick is fucked, Jess is fucked, the whole nine. But it doesn't matter at the end of the day because Jess is playing Nick at the same time. Yeah. So if Owens came in, all he would do is dog him for being with this random ass race skank. Yeah, like he wouldn't put together like that's his girl. Like what you talking about? And it would have easily fell apart. So I love how we were in that mind game because we were really invested in her getting out. When in the grand scheme of things, it really didn't matter.
Right.
Also, great dialogue, great acting. The legendary great Wood Harris has an interview where he was talking about the skill set of acting. He said reading the words and the dialogue is easy.
Yeah.
He said, but when the script says you're delivering this monologue and you're eating a bowl of cereal, or you have to walk from this part of the room to the other, and you start thinking about actions that is not naturally flowing. So that's one of the hardest things for actors to do. So them walking around, having this dialogue, Owens picking up this furniture because he's super smart. It showed us that if there is somebody in here, I'm gonna make sure I hear their ass if they try to get out.
Right.
So that just shows his brains. Like you said, we know that they're father and son at the end of the movie. So we say Nick is on top of it. He does his research. That's just a natural thing. He didn't even think about that. No, I don't think many people would have ran through their mind to even do that. So I love that character trait about him. Some of the dialogue, as I mentioned, I'll go through a few. Sarcasm, another great pillar of your generation. You want to tell somebody to fuck off, tell them to fuck off. Don't say, gee, what a great jacket. It's weakness. He talked about he talked about the this is my best scenes. I'll save it for that. But he had a lot of scenes or quotes from that scene. And obviously Jess gets away and we're still like on the edge of our seats. Like, oh shit, okay, that was a close one. Like, it didn't matter. But I love that scene. I just love everything about it. And we'll talk more about it when we get to the best quotes. Y'all got anything else? I got 2 more scenes.
Go for it. It's on you because that's it. Last 20.
All right, yeah. One of them is part of both of them are, but I just want to highlight a couple things. One is very minor, that car crash scene. the shot was just, it flowed perfectly because as viewers we're wondering why we're following this random ass character.
Yeah.
His name is Gordon.
And he
was in the background the whole movie, and then all of a sudden we're spending time with him at this store buying his mouthpiece. Then he's at the bar. Like, why the fuck are they highlighting this dude and just flowing right into the crash? They could have easily just done one of those. They're leaving the hotel and we spot them and we catch them.
Yeah,
them just adding that whole scene in just changed the face of the movie. I loved how they did that. And the Toledo panic button.
Shout out to the Toledo.
I got my Toledo hat on just for that scene, but we heard about it. They led up to it at the beginning of the movie about what it is, and it's just a perfect. It ties everything up perfectly because what's the number one rule of this shit? Nick said it at the very beginning.
Die with the lie.
Die with the con. And Nick had this revelation of, I want to change my life. This is what really matters to me.
Yeah.
He was ready to spill it all.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that his pops, the OG of this shit, nah, nigga. Rule number one, we die with this con.
That's right.
Yep.
So if hopefully he doesn't, and thankfully he didn't. But if you do gotta go, because Pops was 0 for 3, you do gotta go because we down with this con. This is the life that you were a part of. Like,
right.
The same thing as when people say you in a drug game and all types of crazy shit happens, or the streets. I won't say the drug game, but the streets, and you got these beefs. That's just their separate rule. That's the rules they live by. Con men live by these rules. So once you win, the mob, they live by their certain sets of rules. It just is what it is.
I love the fact that we see why his Pops is 0 for 3, because Pops didn't hesitate, did he?
As viewers, that shot was dope. As soon as you said 3 years, Pops, and once again, Owens was smart. He knew where that story was going, and he knew I can't let this even get far enough to where dude even turn around.
That part.
About 3 years ago, pop.
Yeah,
we're not expecting it as viewers either, as audience. So yeah, all of that was, I love this fucking movie, man.
Yeah, so good, so good.
So yeah, it's just real cool to get an inside look at all of that. We'll move on to best quotes. School, you got anything?
Damn, y'all gonna start with me again, huh?
I mean, shit, we've been keeping it going. Rachel, what you want? What you got?
I'll go, and I really only have a couple.
Okay.
2 of which we've already said, die with the lie or the con. But this, to me, is the most important line in the movie. You get their focus and take whatever you want. If that's not a lesson for life, I don't know who needs to hear this. I don't know who that's for.
That's straight up.
Grab onto that focus, yours or somebody else's. You can do whatever the fuck you want.
That's a bar.
Facts.
That's a bar. For sure. School, did you have anything?
Yeah, I got a few. And if you guys, I know you niggas know, but the viewers don't know. I'm comedy all day. So mine, I have about 6. Grandma McCluskey had cancer. R. Kelly drop cloth shit. I took you off the street, taught you my trade, I taught you my passion, 3 generations of skills. In spite of it all, my earnest efforts, in spite of it all, my hard work, you turned into a good person. Professional curiosity, and I like boobs, so I considered it was a win-win. Where are the black people? I could convince anyone of anything. I once convinced a man that an empty warehouse was the Federal Reserve, so I'm good. And my favorite one is with BD Wong. Like I said, I can't remember his character's name. He likes to pretend. He is the Kevin Costner, and I am the Whitney Houston.
Yeah, I had that written down. That's one of my favorite lines too. I'll go through mine. The more you drink, the more you learn. Garriga at the end, a period, right? The world's longest period. That nigga was pissy and getting no ass. He was hot.
Niggas.
He was hot, man. First things first, we stick to rich folks, and no one with a cane or a wheelchair is bad luck. Don't take advantage of those less fortunate, man. Please don't. Married guys are the best. Who they gonna tell? There's a lazy Sunday softness to your generation. Makes me uncomfortable. I like to be on my feet. I lie down when I get cancer or if I fuck. Both of which will be done on my back, in case you were wondering. Obviously, we don't want to wish any kind of sickness or illness on anyone. But for this character, it made sense that he would say that because he was just some angry ass old man.
Yeah.
Like he's the type of dude that shoots his son to make sure that the lie stays alive.
Yeah.
It made sense. I can see him saying that. That's what he meant. He's just letting it know, like, this is what I'm on. This young generation, y'all ain't shit. You on your iPhones. your Twitter. Who cares if you ate a turkey sandwich? Excuse me, panini, all of that. Like, he was dope. Quick line, sarcasm, satire. And the last one, I've got a little red hair on my taint that tickles when something's afoot. And lately, I've been scratching my nethers like a fucking macaque. It's just hilarious, especially if you know what a macaque is and all that. Scene stealers. I think there's only 3 choices. Who wants to go first?
Yeah, I'll go. I wrote down Adrian Martinez. He didn't miss on his comedy relief, man. He was dope to me. One of my favorite scenes. It's a good scene. I didn't put it down, but when he was just sitting with Jess and showing her pictures, and this is my wife, this is my dog. Oh, that's my dick. Like, sorry about that. Like, that's how I be sometimes.
Has that happened to either one of y'all? I had that down as a question. Y'all ever been somebody been scrolling?
Yeah.
She gonna be upset if she keeps scrolling to the left.
Sometimes you gotta tell people, like, look at this picture, but that's it. Don't do nothing else.
No comment, man. No comment. Rachel, who you got? Scene stealer.
Gerald McRaney as Owens.
Mm-hmm.
Did his thing.
Gerald McRaney is Owens. Hands down, my favorite character is. Well, scene stealer. I don't know if he's my favorite character, but probably he's right there. But I do want to shout out BD Wong. Like, BD Wong's one scene was incredible.
Phenomenal.
It was phenomenal. Like, he really stole the show. He's part of the reason why you can watch that over and over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it reminds me of what we talked about last week with the law-abiding citizen.
2 weeks ago.
Or 2 weeks ago with law-abiding citizen, when I was speaking on Viola Davis, having that one scene. It was a 10-minute dialogue with Meryl Streep, and she was nominated for an Oscar. Like, that type of shit. Like, that was dope-ass scene. Yeah,
BD Wong's been around forever. He's been on a lot of stuff.
And Law and Order, SVU legend.
Yeah, Jurassic Park. He was an OG Jurassic Park. He's been in all the damn Jurassic Parks for real, low key. But he killed it, man. I loved him in this film, even though it was only for one scene. Things that bother you?
That all them motherfuckers was splitting that 1.1 mil. That's the only thing.
It's easy work. It was double. Oh, whoa, hold on. Let's have.
They don't know about that.
Let's have this talk. Because Nick tells them that it's double.
No, he don't.
Nah, hold on. I think he does, because Jess is not in on it. Think about this, School. They are purposely making him seem like a gambler in front of her. Mm-hmm. It'd be different if he just told him that on the one-on-one. Jess is around every single time they planted those seeds, so we know this movie is very particular.
I hear you, but I'm saying I don't believe all 30 of them niggas was in on it. Maybe he probably got 4 or 5 of his close homies together.
Let me counter that. Let me counter that. Okay. There's an honor amongst thieves. That's a real thing. There's a reason why there's a reason why there's just honor amongst thieves. There's a reason why Lee Yuan, why he told Lee Yuan, I trust you. You don't have to write it down.
Yeah.
Like, they live in a certain world by certain codes. I don't think that he was going to have all of them not eat, because they played such a big role in them even getting that 1.1. I think everybody get bread. Is it an equal cut? That might be a different conversation. But they're seeing some of that money, in my opinion.
I agree. Maybe not the whole. It's not split evenly, obviously, but
I said more about school. Watch out for school, y'all.
Because I don't know what that bet ended up as. So I'm gonna give you a little something. And again, I agree that them talking about Mello or Nikki being a gambler, that also was them planting the seed for her.
School, you know how the aunts are in our family.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody hit a number. Somebody getting a little bit of bread. Are they getting an even split? Hell nah.
Nah.
I came up, you come up.
Mm-hmm.
If I found $100, you might not get 50, but I'm about to buy lunch.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you
feel me? Something like we eat together. So I think they cut them in, not evenly, but I think he cut them in.
Okay.
Anybody else got anything about them?
Nah, that's it for me.
Come see about me. It really wasn't a come see about me moment.
It wasn't a come see about me thing.
It actually was a love story because it was a big con. Any actors from The Wire? Unfortunately, not.
Damn, we've been on a streak of no wire.
I know. We gonna find it. Trust me. We gonna find it. Shit. I might pick a movie just to have. I was just watching SWAT randomly, the 2003 version with Samuel Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few wire niggas in there.
Yeah.
We talked about Come See About Me. Wouldn't let that happen to me. Y'all have anything?
No.
Neither did I. School, you got any trivia for us?
Sir, yes, sir. In the scene where Nikki starts drinking alcohol at the party, he can be seen pondering, and over him you can see a painting called The Angel Prevents the Sacrifice of Isaac by Rembrandt. This foreshadows Owen, father figure as Abraham, almost sacrificing Nikki as Isaac the son for the Khan by using the Toledo twist. The feminine nature of the angel in the painting may or may not be related to Jess. Margot Robbie and her mother, Sari, taught Will Smith how to swim on the set of this movie.
Hey, is there I don't know. Am I fucked up for that bothering me a little bit?
No.
I can't really explain why, but it does. But I can explain it, but
what bothers you?
That they taught him how to swim. I don't know. That just kind of bothers me a little bit.
I think it just goes to how close they became on set.
Yeah, no, I get that part too, but I don't know. It's just a little thing. I can't explain it. We'll move on, but it's just a little, Yeah, they definitely became close. My bad. So what else you got?
The close-up of Nicky's watch after he receives the "You're burnt" text in the hotel shows us to be a Peugeot Polo 45 chronograph. At the time of filming, this model had a list price of roughly $19,000. That's insane. The last one I have is Margot Robbie was vacationing with her brother on an island in Croatia when she got the call that the directors wanted her to audition. She had arrived at the hotel at 6 a.m. and needed to catch a flight the same day. She packed everything in 20 minutes and took a boat to the main island, then a bus to the airport. She waited in the airport for 6 hours, flew to France, then got a 6-hour flight to New York. When she arrived in New York, she found out her luggage had been lost. However, she got to the audition on time, wearing denim shorts, a t-shirt, and no makeup. When Will Smith arrived late, saying he was coming from Queens, Robbie said, "Yeah, well, I just came from an island off Croatia, and I'm here on time." Robbie believes that reply got her the role.
Shout out to Margot Robbie. I don't know who Robbie is. I don't know who Robbie is, but shout out to Robbie.
Well, yeah.
I'm fucking with you. Only thing I wanted to say is this film had 3 Ohio references.
Yeah.
Good.
And
most of it being Toledo.
Most of it being Toledo. I was gonna say none of the references were the 3 major cities that people think about when they think of Ohio. No disrespect to Toledo, because we all know Toledo, where is that? I got a Toledo hat on.
Glass City, baby.
They mentioned Toledo, they mentioned Youngstown, and there was a jersey that had Dayton on it. Mm-hmm. So whoever was in the writer's room from Ohio, shout out to y'all, because that's the only reason that stuff like that happens.
Shout out to the crib.
If I ever write anything that ends up on TV or film, you better believe Cincinnati can be plastered all over that shit.
Facts.
Any kind of reference I can throw in about the city, I will. I don't care if it's taking place in New Orleans or, Mexico, whatever. We're going to reference Cincinnati.
That's a fact. And
we get to the end of the film. It was also Will Smith's first R-rated movie since Bad Boys 2.
That's insane.
Yeah, so he had a 12-year run where he didn't have an R-rated movie.
Oh, this movie was edited. One of the rare movies that was edited while it was being filmed, and it was edited using Apple.
Some new technology. It was the first film I think they used that Apple Final Pro editing, and I think you can kind of tell a little bit. There's something that pops out about this movie and the colors in a certain way.
Yeah.
So it was interesting that they were editing in real time. But we get to the final part of our episode. The average viewer rates Focus at a 6.6 out of 10. School, too high, too low, just right.
That's too low, man. I'm going 7.4.
Ray P?
Agreed. Too low. 7.8.
I'm going Luca. 7.7.
7.7.
Yeah, I think that's right there. It's right on the cusp. And if we ever do a revisit, down the line, it might even go up. I can't see it going down. I like it more and more every time I watch it. So
yeah.
Shout out to Focus. Shout out to all y'all out there listening. Shout out to Ray. Shout out to school. Love both of y'all. For everybody continuing to come back and see us, we thank you. Please remember to like, to rate, to subscribe. If you know anyone that likes film, television, especially of the culture, even though this isn't necessarily a quote unquote culture film, that's what we focus on. So please make sure they know about it. Join the conversation. Join the Culture Garden family. We really do appreciate y'all. Check us out on Instagram at the Culture Garden Podcast. Like School mentioned earlier, all of our individual handles are there. Not before you try to enter and rate these DMs. And we got y'all. We are wrapping up Succession. We have episode 9 and then episode 10 next week. And then we will be getting right into Run the World. And Run the World will be fun. I'm excited to do that with Rachel. She's been super hyped for this one. And so am I.
Ben.
Yeah. So am I. So thank y'all for tuning in. We'll see y'all next week. Y'all be cool. How y'all be cool.
Peace.
Bye.
And that's a wrap.
Cut.